Welcome back. It's time to take you through the dailies, and today we've got Martins Oloja, senior editor and columnist at the Guardian newspapers, to go through this with us. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's start with Nigerian Tribune this time and look at their lead story. Senate to probe Paris Club refunds, bailouts, and then to x-ray legality of refunds. This is a matter that's been on for a while.
Yes.
When you speak about bailouts, they'll tell you the first, this is the second, this is the third tranche, and what exactly have they used it for? Did they use it for what they agreed on? But now, Senate is going to probe this.
You know, we are used to Senate or House of Reps or these our legislators probing everything, anything. They just study the newspapers. Anything that is happening like that, they say they are going to probe this parade. You know, whatever anybody wants to say about the way they are told, even the president himself talking about using this one to pay salaries, you know, it's just an administrative procedure. The governors, unless we get the politics that we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
That the governors can decide to use it to do anything. It's not law. It's just an ethical issue.
So that's a gentleman's agreement.
It's just a gentleman's agreement. Nobody can tell the governors, use the money for this. They are entitled to it and they have been given. So if they decide to use it to travel, to enjoy themselves in Hollywood or whatever, it's their headache. Our own concern should be how to make them to be responsible, to do the right thing, and get them to work in the interest of the larger society. How to make them to work in public interest. How to make them to even sit down and think critically. We need people in the next dispensation, because it appears that we have lost this. We need people who can think, who can write whatever they have, their vision on paper, and implement it. We need political parties, as we were discussing somewhere yesterday. We need political parties that will have manifesto, that will write down something that they will do from month to month. I remember that years ago, now Dr. Olusegun Agagu, as governor of Ondo State, at the beginning of every year, he would look at his budget and do a roadmap, what they will do every week. And this new government has copied it. I don't know whether they are going to implement it. So we need a responsible and very organized government and good governors who will sit down and have discipline of execution.
Timelines.
Yes, timelines. So this is our vision. This is what we want to do. Hold us to it.
What about the state assemblies? Many of them, they say, are rubber stamp. How many of them can actually hold them?
These state assemblies, have you read, have you got any sound bite or any quotable quote, anything responsible? All we hear about, they have removed the speaker. At the instance of the governor, they just remove them, and the governors can summon State House of Assembly members. Within 10 minutes, they are there. They give them cars, they give them all sorts of things. They cannot do anything on these state assemblies. Ordinarily, that is the most, that's supposed to be the most powerful arm. And the organ that can check and balance the governors. That is in the Constitution. They have the power of the purse. They are the ones to do any oversight. They are the ones that can ask all these questions, but because they've lost credibility, nobody believes them.
But you know, these state governors and this Paris Club refunds, if they use it for whatever purpose, or if this probe finds that, because I don't know how, or the import of that ICPC report at the time in terms of after the first tranche, what did the governors do with the funds? Now, if this probe finds out that maybe they may have misused, depending on what that means to them eventually, or misappropriated those funds, what possible penalties can there be?
You know, the organization I was talking about, you know, ICPC, EFCC, these two agencies of government, and I think it boils down to the issue that people are talking about, devolution of powers. And this restructuring that people are talking about, you know, in the social media, you know, it looks like a joke. It's not a joke. For two bodies and CCB now, Code of Conduct Bureau, and the tribunal. These three bodies based in Abuja to oversee and look for how they use Paris Club refund of 774 local governments, 36 state governments. When all these organs do not have their own, except in Kano, where they have their own anti-corruption body. Yeah. Most of the state governments don't have. So we depend on EFCC. You can see some form of paralysis in their operation because they are overwhelmed. So Nigeria is not Ghana. 181 or 80, anything million people in 774 local governments and 36 state governments.
The EFCC has got
offices. They don't have the capacity.
They have offices in every other state.
They have offices in every other state, but the capacity to handle this thing efficiently is not there. And whatever they do, like I said earlier, is the law. Nobody can actually, you cannot tell the governors what to do with the money that they are entitled to from the federation account. Whatever they are entitled to, I said we should be worried about how to get these governors to be accountable. How we, the people too, should hold them to be responsible for their action and to ask them, what do you do? Look at their lifestyle.
So
look at the way they live.
What's the first step then in trying to get them to be accountable for these funds?
In the first instance, he mentioned an agency, an institution. The people, one of the critical functions of the legislature is representation. They are representing the people. They do this oversight function, but this is something that we hardly talk about in Nigeria. Representation. If my child, for instance, cannot get admission into any of maybe desired universities or polytechnic colleges of education, or even federal government colleges, the concern I should report to my legislator, the one that is representing me at the state assembly, not necessarily at the federal House of Representatives. If it is a federal affair, yes, but they are not representing us well. The legislature, as he mentioned, is a critical body, and they have the power so that the Constitution to ask certain questions about the Treasury management. But in our own situation, nothing like that happens.
And then vaccine scare is coming up here again. Anxious parents withdraw children from schools in, this time, Maiduguri.
In Maiduguri?
What's going on? Because the FEC spoke about it, the Minister of Health, yes. After FEC meeting, they spoke about this. The army has spoken up about this, but you're still seeing parents frantically withdrawing their wards from schools.
You know, this management of perception. You know, there was this news break in the social media that the army authorities have been going around vaccinating. Yeah. You saw one photograph in early week in one newspaper where one people was running helter-skelter to get out of school when they learned that these health officials were in school. They didn't care because they have been told by their parents to run away, that they should not do it. And people have not managed this crisis well, because crisis managers are very few and far between here, because it's skills management. You need to acquire skill, not just journalism. You know, this is part of the crisis, the national crisis that we have. If you are migrating from journalism to public relations, or marketing, communication, or anything like that, is skill. It's a set of skills that we need to acquire. But the way people just talk anyhow, if you see people who are supposed to manage this kind of perception challenge, they do not have the skill, and it's a problem here. That the parents already have this, they've been fed through the social media that, oh, there's this monkeypox is as a result of vaccination. And nobody has dispelled that. The health minister can say his own, but the parents do not believe anybody.
Because a lot of them seem to be reactive.
They react.
You know, the news is already out there, and then you start reacting and chasing it. So, but that's how many homes can you get to and tell them, oh no, but I guess
managing perception is
hopefully they'll learn the lessons.
Challenge, yeah.
If they feel there's anything to learn anyway, but now that's the implication of what we see here. All right, let's go to break. We'll be back and take you through a lot more in a moment.